Hello and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Today I'm gonna show you how to make my chubby baby axolotl. This is what we're gonna making today. It is a free pattern I designed. You can find the written pattern in my Instagram profile. I will link that in the description. So if you prefer the written pattern, you can totally check that out and follow me on Instagram if you do. Thanks. But before we start with the tutorial, a few things about me, because this is my first YouTube video and I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit. I don't know if you know me from Instagram, Becky's Plushies. I should have probably said that earlier. I'm Becky from Becky's Plushies. And yeah, my name is Becky. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Austria. You can probably hear that in my accent. I am sorry, but I can't change that. I wish I could, but I can't. And yeah, I am a crochet artist. I love to create and design crochet patterns. And by the way, a little disclaimer, this won't be a professional video. This will not be a professional video or tutorial. This will be probably more chaotic than professional. Well, if you follow me on Instagram or already saw my baby axolotl pattern, you probably know them like this. I made these with a tiny yarn and a 2mm crochet hook. But because this yarn is kind of hard, or not hard, but kind of time consuming to crochet with, we are going to make this with a bigger yarn and it will look like this. It is so chubby and it is so cute. So now let's head over to the messiest desk in the world and start. So welcome to my desk where the magic happens. Here's the material list. So all you need is some yarn and you need 2 different colors of yarn. Which yarn you use is totally up to you. I'm gonna use the one from Yarn Art Dolce Baby in these orangey colors. Next you will need a crochet hook and I'm gonna use a 3mm hook, but you can use any size that fits to your yarn. Then you will need some stitch marker, but you can also use some bobby pins or a yarn or whatever you have by hand. Next you will need some scissors. Then you'll need a darning needle for sewing later. And if you want to make your life a little easier, you can use some pins to pin everything in place before sewing, but that is totally optional. You also need some stuffing, and what I forgot to show you is you need also some black acrylic yarn for the mouth and some 6mm safety eyes or whatever size you prefer. So let's go. We will start with the body of the axolotl. So you're gonna grab your main color, it's this bright orange for me, and you're gonna start with the magic ring and make 8 single crochets into the magic ring. I will do that and meet you back when I'm done. So I'm finished with my 8 single crochet and I closed the magic ring. And for row 2 we will make 8 increases. An increase is basically just 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and we will repeat this 8 times all the way around. I'm gonna make my first single crochet and put in my stitch marker to mark the beginning of the row. And now I make another single crochet in the same stitch and repeat this all the way around. So 2 single crochet in every stitch. I'm gonna make my last increase and remove my stitch marker, make a single crochet and put a stitch marker in again. And for row 3 we are going to make 1 single crochet and 1 increase. So I already made my first single crochet, and in the next stitch I'm gonna make an increase, another single crochet, another increase. And we will repeat this all the way around until we reach our stitch marker again. So I'm making my last increase. This is what it should look like by now. I'm gonna remove my stitch marker again, make a single crochet and replace it. For row 4 until row 6, we will going to single crochet all the way around. So just make 1 single crochet all the way around in every stitch for 3 rows. So make 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around for 3 rows. And I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done. So I made 3 rows of single crochet, and this is what it should look like by now. For row 7, we are going to make 2 single crochet and 1 increase. So I'm gonna place my stitch marker, made my first single crochet. In the next stitch I'm gonna make another single crochet, and in the next stitch I'm gonna make an increase. And again repeat all the way around. So I'm again at the end of my row. This is what it should look like. I'm gonna remove my stitch marker, make a single crochet and put it back in. And for row 8 we are going to make the arms. So this is where you need to know how to make a bobble stitch, but I will show you that later. First we're going to make 9 single crochets. So I already made my first one. Now 2 single crochet, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 single crochets. In the next stitch we will make a bobble stitch. A bobble stitch is basically just 5 unfinished double crochets, but I will show you how to do that. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, grab the yarn and pull through 2. You have 2 loops on your hook. Repeat the same step, pull through 2. Another time. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn through 2. You now have 4 loops on your hook, and one more time. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop and pull through 2. You should now have 5 loops on your hook. And now you're gonna grab your yarn and pull through all those 5 loops. And that is a bobble stitch. So next we are back on the body and we will make 12 single crochets. So in the next stitch a single crochet and 2, 3, 4 and repeat until you have 12 single crochets. So I made my 12th single crochet and now another bobble stitch. Insert your hook, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2, and one more time until you have 5 loops on your hook again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops, grab the yarn and pull through all those 5 loops. Back on the body we will make another 9 single crochets. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 single crochets. That's it for row 8. So for row 9 I'm gonna remove my stitch marker, make another single crochet and put it back in. And to make him really chubby, we are going to make another row of increases, but this time it will be 3 single crochet and 1 increase. So I made my first single crochet, my second one, third one, and in the next stitch an increase. Again, repeat this all the way around. So 3 single crochets and 1 increase 8 times. I'm done with my last increase. You should have a total of 40 stitches now, and this is what it looks like. So for round 10, we will again single crochet all the way around, so 1 single crochet in every stitch, until you reach the end of the row. So I finished row 10, remove my stitch marker again. This is what it looks like. And for row 11, I'm gonna place my stitch marker and we're gonna make the little legs. So I made my first single crochet and I'm gonna make 14 another single crochets. You should have a total of 15 single crochets. So I made my 15th single crochet and now we will make another bubble stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2 and repeat this 4 more times. So one more time. I have 5 loops on my hook. Grab the yarn and pull through all 5 loops. Back on the body, we will make 8 single crochets. So I made 8 single crochets and now we will make another bubble stitch in the next stitch. So again, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop and pull through 2. Repeat this in total 6 times until you have 5 loops on your hook. So if you're done, grab the yarn and pull through all 5 loops. Back on the body, we will make another 15 single crochets until we reach the end of the row. So for row 12, we will again single crochet around. So 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around until you reach the end of your row. I'll do that and meet you back again when I'm done. So this is what it should look like now, and we are almost done with the body. We will now make the decrease rows to close our little body. For row 13, we are going to make 3 single crochets and 1 decrease. So I made my first single crochet. Now I'm gonna make another single crochet and the third single crochet, and we will now make a decrease. And I'm gonna make an invisible decrease and I will show you how to do that. So you have these 2 loops and you will go only through the front loop and in the next stitch through another front loop. So now grab your yarn and go through both front loops. You have now 2 loops on your hook. Grab your yarn and pull through those 2 loops. So now you make 3 single crochet and 1 decrease all the way around until you reach the end of your row. So I made my last decrease and finished row 13. For row 14, we will Repeat the same steps but with 2 single crochet. So you will make 2 single crochets and 1 decrease. I made my first single crochet, put in my stitch marker, make my second single crochet and again a decrease. Repeat this all the way around. 2 single crochet, 1 decrease. I will meet you back when I'm done. So I'm gonna make my last decrease and we are finished with row 14. You can now put your crochet hook to the side for a second because we will place the safety eyes. And I'm gonna use some 6mm eyes, but you can use any size you want. And I will place them between row 7 and row 8, 2 stitches next to the arms and with 6 visible stitches in between. 5 or 6 stitches, it depends a little on the yarn you used. So next you can take your black acrylic yarn and cut a string and we will create the mouth. So this yarn is a little too thick for my mouth. It won't look that cute and I don't have any thinner by hand, so I'm just gonna pull the string in 2 halves and we will have a thinner yarn. So I'm gonna take my darning needle and bring the yarn from the back to the front, between the eyes and about 2 stitches wide. I'm gonna go back into the body and we created a little mouth. I'm gonna double knot that on the back and meet you back when I'm done. So next, for row 15, we will make 1 single crochet and 1 decrease 8 times. So I made my first single crochet. Next, I'm gonna make a decrease, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 decrease. And repeat this all the way around until you reach your stitch marker again. I'm gonna make my last decrease here and we can now stuff our little body, and make sure to take your time with the stuffing because this is one of the most important things with amigurumi, because that can change a lot in the form and shape you will have for your plushie. So I'm gonna bring some stuffing in there and pull it to the side and make sure to form it a little. You can also pop out the bubble stitches a little with the end of your crochet hook just to make them more visible. And I will finish stuffing and meet you back. So if you're done with the stuffing, you can now make the last row of the body, and for row 16 we will make 8 decreases. So just decreases all the way around. I'm gonna place my stitch marker here again and make 8 decreases. I will meet you back again when I'm done. By the way, if your stitches are too tight for invisible decreases, you can just make a normal decrease for the last row, because it's the bottom of the body and you won't see it anyways. So now I'm finished with row 16. I will make a slip stitch, pull out the tail just to have a little bit of a tail for sewing the hole close, cut the yarn, and we're almost done. So to close the hole, I'm gonna take my darning needle again and we will go through every front loop of every stitch 8 times. So you have the stitch here and you will only go through the front loop, pull the yarn through, and repeat this 8 times all the way around, so just the front loops. So once you went through every front loop, just pull the yarn and it will close the hole. And I'm gonna just secure the yarn by go through the body a few times and bring it to the back. And then just cut the yarn and hide the tail and you're done with the body. It looks like a little potato, but trust the process. So next will be the head fins, and for that we're gonna take our second color, make a slip knot, and we will chain 4. So 1 chain, 2, 3 and 4. And now we will start in the second chain from the hook. So this is the first chain from the hook and this is the second one. We will go through the second one and I'm gonna make a slip stitch. In the next stitch I'm gonna make a double crochet, so yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn through 2 and go through 2 again. And in the last stitch I'm gonna make another slip stitch. We already have the first fin, and now we will continue again. Chain 4, so 1, 2, 3 and 4 chains again, and repeat all the steps we did. So in the second chain from the hook, make a slip stitch. In the next chain, make a double crochet. And in the last stitch, make another slip stitch. It can be a little tricky here, but just take your time. So the second fin is done, and we will make the last fin by repeating all those steps again. Chain 4. In the second chain from the hook, make a slip stitch. In the next stitch, a double crochet. And in the last one, another slip stitch. So I will just chain 1 to secure and cut the yarn and leave a little bit of a tail for sewing later. So now you have your first row of fins, and I'm gonna make a second row of fins for the other side of the body, and I will meet you back when I'm done. So just repeat all those steps one more time. So here I have my second row of fins, and I'm gonna lay that to the side. And we will start now with the little tail. So take your main color again, the yarn you used for your body, and we will make a magic ring And into the magic ring we will make 6 single crochets. So for row 2 we will make 1 single crochet and 1 increase 3 times, so you should have a total of 9 single crochets. I'm gonna make my first single crochet and put in a stitch marker, and in the next stitch we will make an increase. So again, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, and the last increase. For row 3 we will make another increase row, but this time with 2 single crochets. So I'm gonna make my first single crochet, put in my stitch marker, make my second single crochet and an increase. And repeat this all the way around until you reach the end of your row. So I made my last increase, and this is what it should look like so far. So next I'm gonna remove my stitch marker, make a single crochet and put it back in. And for the next 4 rows we will make single crochets all the way around. So 4 rows, for row 4 until row 7 you will just make single crochets all the way around. 1 single crochet in every stitch. And I will meet you back when I'm done. So I finished row 7 and now we can fasten off. I'm gonna make a slip stitch to secure. You can now cut the yarn, but make sure to leave a little bit of a tail long enough to sew the tail on later. I just tied the tail from the magic ring in there. You can also stuff your tail if you want it to be a little chubbier, but I'm gonna leave it like it is. So next you will need your second color again, and we will now make the tail fins. And we will crochet them directly onto the tail, and you just put your crochet hook or insert your crochet hook into the stitch on top of the tail on one side. Grab your yarn and pull up a loop and chain 1 to secure. And now in the next stitch on the side you will make 1 double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, go through 2 and go through 2. So now you will chain 2, so 1 and 2, and make another double crochet into the same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch you made your first double crochet, pull up a loop, pull through 2 and pull through 2. And again, in the same stitch you just made your double crochets, you will make a slip stitch. And you finished your first fin. We will repeat this 3 times for each side. I will show you again. So in the next stitch, you will make a slip stitch. Chain 1, make a double crochet into the same stitch you just slip stitched, chain 2, make another double crochet in the same stitch, and another slip stitch in the same stitch again. And we will repeat the same steps one more time. So insert your hook in the last stitch. This should be right next to the magic ring. Make a slip stitch, chain 1, make a double crochet into the same stitch, chain 2, make another double crochet into the same stitch, and one last time, another slip stitch. So now you can fasten off by just cutting the yarn. You don't have to leave a tail, just a little bit to hide it so it will stay where it is. I will bring the yarn tails back to the middle of the tail, and I will bring them to the same stitch so I can double knot them and hide them in the tail. So I'm gonna make a double knot here just to secure everything. And you finished your first row of the tail fins. Already looks so cute. So next we will repeat all these steps on the other side of the tail. But because we want the 3 tail fins on each side to look in the same direction, we will not start on row 7, we will start directly next to the magic ring. So insert your hook in the first stitch here and repeat all steps we just did on the other side. If you have a stitch too much or a little too much space here, you can just skip one stitch and make your last fin into the last row of your tail, so it will look identical to the other side. So I finished my second row of tail fins. I'm gonna fasten off, cut the yarn, and this is what it should look like. You can now see why we started on the other side of the tail for the second tail fins, because now they look in the same direction. And that was it for crocheting. We can now sew everything together and we're almost done. So if you have some pins by hand, you can just pin everything in place, and I'm gonna place my head fins between row 2 and row 7. And I'm gonna pin everything in place, so I will start on row 2, pin the first fin where I want them to be, and work my way all the way down. So if you're happy with your placement, you can just take your darning needle and sew them onto the body. And I will sew them by just going through the body and going back into the fins. So I guess you can see what I'm doing here, so I will meet you back when I'm done. So I'm gonna bring both yarn ends to the back of the body and double knot them to secure, and repeat all of those steps on the other side. So last but not least, we will sew on the tail, and I will sew them on between row 10 and row 13 of the body in the middle of the back. I will show you in a second when I pinned everything in place. So this is what it should look like. Make sure it is centered in the middle of the body. And I will just sew them on by going through one stitch of the body and one stitch of the tail, one stitch of the body and one stitch of the tail, all the way around. And make sure there are no holes. Take your time while sewing. I know this is something a lot of people do not enjoy, but I promise if you take your time and make it as clean as possible, it is actually kind of relaxing. So take your time, sew it on, and I will meet you back when I am done here. So I reached the end, and as I said, make sure there is no hole, especially for the last stitches. And I will secure the yarn by going a few times through the body, bringing the yarn to the bottom of the body, cut the yarn and hide the tail in there. Step, step, step. And voila! You are finished with your baby axolotl. And you're done with your little baby axolotls. I really hope you enjoyed making this, and I really hope you liked the tutorial. If you did, subscribe my channel, like the video, and maybe leave a comment or whatever you feel like. If you decide to post your baby axolotls anywhere, I will be so happy if you can tag me so I can see them, because I'm always so excited to see your creations. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day or evening or night or whatever. Bye.